How you guys doing? This is Jason with Tuna Tech, and I'm back, but this time I have a need for speed. Okay, so in the corner here you can see the Nubia Z60 Ultra, which I had a video of beginning maybe last week, this week, I don't remember, they all blur together. But this was a phone by a company named Nubia, and it's more of a consumer focused, camera centric, really good phone so far. I've been using it for about a week with my main SIM, and it's actually been pretty stellar. But Nubia doesn't just make phones like this, they also make gaming phones. And this is their latest from the Redmagic line. Now, if you go through my videos, you'll see a couple Nubia phones. This is considered a Nubia phone too, but they list it as a Redmagic. It's their gaming division. And I have about 4, 5, 6 videos of all the past Redmagic phones. Something about them draws me to them. They're unique, they're different, they're focused on gaming. And you know, it's just something I'd like to try out. So what I'm gonna do is this time I'm gonna do something a little different. We're gonna just open it up right off the rip, take a look at it for the first time together, see what we think. Then we'll go over some quick things about what the phone offers, and we'll go from there. So you can see right here, you guys, I'll move this phone all the way a little bit. This is the Nubia Redmagic 9 Pro, okay? So they usually have like an S that will come out a little bit later. That's some slightly upgraded specs. But you can see the silver, which is kind of toned down. A lot of their packaging is more flashy with art and stuff, but just a silver package, and it says 09. It says win more games. I don't know if you guys can see that on there. And that's pretty much about all there is. Now there's a couple versions. This is the 12 gig 256, so it's the cheaper model, and it's in the color of Sleet. So we'll go over some more of that kind of stuff here in a second, but let's just get into the package. The package is a little beat up there, but anyways. So this is the packaging. First thing you'll see is some nice, interesting, very subdued packaging for a gaming phone. But either way, let's see what we got in the package. So in there you get your SIM ejection tool, which is nice. Here's what they usually come with a box. You got some of that like artistic comic kind of look, but this is like a user guide. You have a warranty card, which no one really reads, and like the Nubia Z60, I should say, Ultra, it comes with a very generic plastic case with no side protection, just bottom and top. But it is included, and I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. There's a reason why they include these. These Chinese phones aren't, while they are very nice phones for the most part, they don't sell as well as your Samsungs, your Apples, and all that stuff. So they give you a case because they know, at least here in the US, it'll be hard to find cases for a lot of these phones. So in the box, you get a charger. I believe this is similar to the Z60, which is an 80 watt. We'll take a look. 80 watt charger included, no wireless charging, just FYI. And like the Z60 Ultra, a red USB Type-C to C cable. So pretty much identical packaging, probably pretty much identical software. I think the biggest thing we're going to see is a couple game-centric software things, as well as some cosmetics on the outside. So this is the device, and we'll open it. And while we're doing that, let's talk a little bit about this phone. So this was just recently released. I like all these Nubia phones. They usually come out in China first. They've been out for a little while, and they come to the US and North America a little bit later. So comparing these two phones, obviously the case makes it look big, but it looks like they're about the same size. But this is a 6.8 inch AMOLED 120 hertz refresh rate AMOLED display. Now, interestingly enough, this has a 960 hertz sampling rate with up to 2000 hertz. It's got a peak brightness of 1600 nits, and it has PWM dimming at 2160 hertz. So just going around here, you got this little red slider right here. This is your game space. You click this, it'll open it right into game space so you can play your games. I'm going to assume that these are your shoulder triggers right here. As you can see right here. This is your power button, and these are that's your volume rocker. We'll see if it turns on. It's kind of cold. Okay, it did turn on. On this side, you've got your inlet for your fan, and actually, I'm sorry, This is the inlet for your fan, and this is your fan. It's supposed to be a camera module, but it's actually a fan. And then it kicks it out this side. And you got two cameras. Now, it's interestingly enough, I'll go to the cameras a little bit, but they don't really mention much about the second camera, and I'm gonna probably figure out why. But like I said, 6.8-inch AMOLED screen. This is the 12 gig 256 version, but they do have a 16 gig version as well. So the 256 is 512. It's 4.0 storage. The Sleet, which is this right here, is 12 gig 256. They have a Snowfall, which is a 16 gigabyte 512 gigabyte, and then they have a Cyclone color, which is 16 gigabyte 512. The rear camera is a 50 megapixel Samsung GN5 with OIS. And then they also have a 50 megapixel Samsung JN1. So you have a 50 megapixel standard main camera and a 50 megapixel ultra wide, which is an upgrade. I think last year it wasn't quite that nice. On the front, you have a 16 megapixel under the second generation under display camera, so you can't see it like the Nubia Z60. It's under display. And what's interesting about those cameras, a side note, and I'll maybe do a review on some of these. When you initially open the selfie camera and you see it pop up on the screen, you take a picture and you glance at it, it looks terrible. But they use AI, and after the AI does its magic, it actually does not look terrible, which is pretty interesting. You know, so people out there who say the under display cameras are terrible, yes, they are. But if you have good software and good AI like this phone does, it definitely helps its case. So battery wise, you got a 6500 milliamp hour battery, so even bigger than this one. 80 watt fast charging included in the box like we saw, and there's no wireless charging. It operates on Redmagic OS 9.0, which is based on Android 14, which is nice, because unfortunately one downside to all these phones where they are usually pretty decently priced, and this one I'll go over later is a good price, and so was this one. Software updates are hit or miss. Now with the Nubia Z60, I've already gotten 2 updates, and it kind of explain what they are, but this has just been turned on and we'll find that out later. On the side here, like I said, you've got shoulder triggers, and they're capacitive touch, and they're just for better gaming and more mapping to more frames and whatever you want to play on the unit itself. For cooling, they have the ICE 13.0 cooling system, a multi-layer cooling system to prevent the phone from overheating during gaming sessions. A 22,000 22,000 RPM high-speed turbo fan with cooling air duct. Game Space, which is activated by the red switch, is a dedicated app that optimizes the phone's performance for gaming. There's also an overlay, so when you turn it on, it's probably not gonna work because I'm into it, but you can swipe it from the side and you can change the performance to like eco, so it saves battery life, middle to high, and then there's even a Diablo mode that maxes everything out, and it's a special way to get to that. Other features, it's got USB 3.2 with video out, and if you do go into Game Space but it plugged into a TV or monitor, it does go into like a console gaming kind of thing. Really neat. You can use a keyboard and mouse with it, and I've tried it out with their 8 Pro and the 8S Pro, and it works fantastic. It's something you rarely see. The Nubia Z60 also has video out, but doesn't have that console-like thing, which is kind of interesting. So for the price, the Nubia Redmagic 9 Pro starts at $649 for 12 gig 256. And then the other 2 colors that come in 16 gigabyte, 512 gigabyte start at $799. So $799 is a little budget, but this does have the Snapdragon Gen 3. So that's 8 Gen 3, I should say, which is top of line for Android phones at the moment. And overall, this Nubia Redmagic 9 Pro is a powerful gaming smartphone with a lot to offer. It has top of the line processor, definitely plenty of RAM, probably too much, a smooth display, and a powerful cooling system. It's relatively affordable compared to other flagship gaming phones and other flagships in general. It has shoulder triggers with a 520 Hz touch sampling rate, Game Space switch, and customizable RGB lights. So what doesn't it do? Well, it does everything a regular smartphone can do, and as you can see, this is a very very subdued compared to other phones that they've made in the past with the Redmagic branding on it, which is good, so it doesn't necessarily stick out as much. But the other thing is the cameras are never very good on these. So the Nubia Z60, while I'm still kind of testing it out, cameras are pretty good on this. I'm going to assume these aren't going to be as good, but if you're buying a gaming phone, you're probably not buying this for the cameras. So you're buying it for gaming. And for this price, you really can't go wrong. The only thing I'd caution about buying this phone is ROG. The Asus ROG Phone 8 is about to be released, and they just announced it to CES. And it's got an also very subdued look and highly upgraded cameras from what the rumors I'm hearing. So that phone could take the best gaming phone again, not only because it's maybe better built or a higher quality or whatever, but it's going to have better cameras. So I don't want to dog the cameras on this. I'm sure for the most people in the daytime it's going to be serviceable, but it's not going to be a Pixel phone. It's not going to be an iPhone. It's not going to be a Samsung when it comes to the camera department. So what do you guys think? You know, I mean, do you think that gaming phones should exist? Do you think that these are a waste of people's time? Do you think it's even worth it? You know, these companies keep popping these out, mainly Redmagic and Asus. Lenovo dropped out of the gaming phone for a while, and it hasn't come back. You see this? It's even got an IR blaster and a headphone jack. The Nubia Z60 also has a infrared sensor on it too, so you can use a remote control for TVs. Got speakers in the front and bottom, SIM card ejection, and then your USB Type-C port. But it's pretty subdued. I like the black. It looks nice. It's kind of a matte black. It's shiny. Got a little bit of texture. You can hear this. But camera mounts are flat. Large battery, should last a long time. The Gen 3 is supposed to be pretty battery efficient. So again, I'll pose the question again. Leave a comment. What do you think about gaming phones? Should they exist, or should we just make a very powerful flagship that can game? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Check this out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Thanks, guys.